Just so our viewers know, you embed yourself in these protests. You report. You're one of the only reporters, actually, who reports on Antifa from the ground. You interview these people, you watch these people, you report on what they do and what they say and the violence that they stir up. And you were the victim. Fortunately, they did not take your life, thank God, but you were the victim of their violence in Portland, Oregon this year.
Yeah, so that beating now was over 5 months ago. There still has not been a single arrest. I think what this demonstrates, particularly what's happening right now in London, I think is an important point to bring up. So yesterday, the UK had their national elections, and the Conservatives came out with a landslide win. And to no one's surprise, Antifa extremists and their left-wing sympathizers took to the streets in the capital and have been protesting violently. This is what we saw in Portland and other American cities after the election of Donald Trump in 2016. We're probably going to see repeats of that in 2020. Um, violent revolution is part of the Antifa ideology. They have no issues with attacking journalists, citizens, the state, in order to achieve their goal.
Well, so here's my question, and this is kind of what I started the segment with. What is the future of Antifa? Because there are always going to be, unfortunately, evil people, radical people, violent people in a society as large and as free as ours. But generally, those types of peoples are relegated to the very fringe. They are a very small number of people. They influence very little in our society, and they phase in and out depending on what their ideology is, but they don't become a growing threat. What do you see when it comes to Antifa? Do you see that same pattern in their future, or do you see growing influence, growing violence, and I guess growing amount of Democrat politicians who are willing to look the other way, mainstream media included, or even being complicit in this type of ideology?
I think as the police in various cities learn from past mistakes, it's going to hamper probably some of the violent street tactics of Antifa militants. However, what I'm observing is that they are evolving and diversifying their tactics to really include things such as getting sympathizers onto city councils and even into Congress. I would say AOC is one of the muses of Antifa, essentially. So they're recognizing that they can have political influence through a democratic legal process, even if their ultimate goal is to overturn the rule of law.
And it's really terrifying to watch. That's why we on this show continue to follow all of these incidents. We are grateful for you for reporting on what the mainstream media won't report on, because if we ignore this, it will allow it to grow and fester. Andy, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it.